Hi everyone, I'm New Center Maine's Todd Gutner from the weather office on this very stormy Friday morning. And what a mess we have out there right now. Pretty much seen all types of precipitation. We had some rain last night that went to freezing rain briefly, and now we're into the sleet and the heavy snow across most of Maine right now. This is a big sleet producer, especially for the coastline and even several miles inland too. There have been a couple of inches of sleet that's accumulated, not snow, sleet, and that's making driving very difficult because sleet are like these little tiny marbles underneath your tires, and it kind of like you get fishtail around a lot real easily. So not easy driving around, whether it's sleet, whether it's snow, but in all cases it is going to be a mess. Let's start out with a look at some webcams. These are all on 95, the Maine Turnpike, and then eventually up to 95 in the Bangor area. And as you can see, one of those looks different than the other. And it's the one on the bottom right, Bangor, where you can't see much at all. That's because in Bangor, it's mostly snow. Now in Kennebunk, it's mostly sleet, and sleet doesn't limit visibility as much. Same thing in Portland, and in Gray too, where we're starting to mix with some snowflakes finally. But Portland, Kennebunk, you're going to stay mostly sleet for this event. In Bangor, you are now into the snow, and you're going to stay that way. So these precipitation types, I got to tell you, I kind of wish it was just all snow. It's just easier to deal with, like it was last weekend. Yeah, it was a blizzard, and I didn't like the wind with that, but the snow part of it, that was really easy to move around. It was light, it was fluffy. So how does that happen? Well, up in the cloud where the snowflake forms would fall all the way down to the surface when sub-freezing air. Therefore, it doesn't have an opportunity to melt at all. So that's the snowflake getting all the way to the ground. We've got that over the interior. Sleet, and that's what we pretty much have out there for the coastline, is a thin layer of warmth, several thousand feet in the air. In this case today, it's around 6,000 feet. And what happens is that snowflake falling from the cloud goes through that warm layer, melts into a raindrop, and then it refreezes when it encounters sub-freezing air again, below 32, all the way down to the surface. And when that raindrop refreezes, it refreezes into an ice pellet, and we call that sleet. Now, what most of us don't like, and what's the most difficult thing to deal with, is freezing rain. That's when the warm layer is extra thick, and the raindrop doesn't have time to refreeze into a sleet pellet. It refreezes when it hits something on the ground, like a tree limb or a power line, and that can cause power outages. Now, thankfully, we didn't get much freezing rain, and I don't see much more out of this system at all. So power outages are not really much of a factor here at all. So here's a look at the radar. A lot of colors on there. All the green is plain old rain. That's been shoved out to sea with the warm air, and now the Arctic air has worked in behind it. And I put some temperatures on here so you get an idea of how cold it is. Yesterday we hit 42 degrees for a high temp, and now it's down to 22 in Portland with heavy sleet. This is a sleet bomb. You know, a glitter bomb, you know, you get a birthday card and your aunt has it's a glitter card. You open it up, glitter goes everywhere. Well, nobody likes that, and nobody likes a sleet bomb either, and that's what we have, inches of sleet. The sleet goes down into York County now, where we no longer are seeing any raindrops. Now, it looks as if it's snowing all the way up through Cumberland and Gray to Lewiston, but somewhere in between, there is some sleet working in. The radar's getting fooled here. I think it's right around Gray, New Gloucester right now, the snow-sleet line. So south of there, Falmouth and Cumberland and Yarmouth and Brunswick, you still have some sleet. You go inland, a temp of 17 in Waterville, 16 degrees in Bangor. This is fluffy, efficiently accumulating snow right now for the interior. Big flakes too. At first, it was wet, so you're going to have it layered. A little bit of rain at the bottom that's frozen now, a little bit of sleet, and then you've got some wet snow and you've got this fluffy snow. So it's like a layered cake, and that's going to be tough to kind of clean up. Along the coast, we're still getting sleet there. And then finally up north and in the mountains, lots of snow here, but starting to see signs of a back edge working into the Allagash right now. So a lot of these places up north, like Holton and Millinocket and Greenville, over to the ski resorts, have all received about double-digit snowfall, close to a foot. There is an end in sight. I mean, we might get a few 14 inchers out there, but for the most part, we've seen most of the accumulation. Where you have ice right now and where you have snow right now, it's pretty much what you're going to see for the next, say, 3-4 hours, right up until midday in the early afternoon. Right along the coast, it's the sleet bomb, and inland, it's heavy, heavy snow. As we go to the middle of the day into the afternoon, we're going to chip away at that warm layer around 5,000 feet, and we're going to get all the sleet out of here. And we'll actually wrap up this storm in the afternoon and evening with some on and off snow showers and bursts of snow, even down to the coastline. So while there's going to be mostly sleet out of this, there will be a coating of snow on top of that when we wrap things up. The final snow flakes themselves will fall mid-evening, looks like 6, 7 o'clock, and then after that, it should move on, and we'll be back to some sunshine over the weekend. So amounts of snow and sleet along the coast held down because it's mostly sleet, and I see like 2 to 4 inches of it with a coating of snow on top. Then as you go inland, those numbers go up. North and west of Lewiston up through the Oxford Hills and on into the western Maine mountains and the mountains of New Hampshire, ski resort country, you're getting around a foot of snow. As you head down Route 2 into Bangor, you're going to end up with 8 to 12 inches of snow. You go north of Bangor, where it's even fluffier, and you're getting that fluff factor, there could be a little bit more than a foot of snow up through the central Maine highlands, and then 4 to 8 inches for far northern Maine. And again, this wraps up this evening. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast, a quick look for you. Sunshine out there this weekend. It's going to be blustery tomorrow, though, so I think Sunday's the better weekend day to get out and play in all this snow. We're looking at highs around 20. Next week, it's a little milder, highs in the 30s. I can't completely rule out something on Tuesday, but if we get something, it's probably just a couple of inches of snow. The chances of a big storm are rather minimal at this point. That's a wrap up of the weather. Let's see what it looks like outside. We're going to check in with our fave, Don Carrigan, up on the mid-coast, and I assume that he's seen a lot of sleet, and it continues to fall. Hey there, Don.
And good morning. I think that's my cue. Good morning. I'm Don Carrigan, and I got to open the window so we can get a clear shot for the camera out here. We are outside the house here in South Bristol on the coast. We're a couple miles inland, and as you may be able to hear on the microphone, we are still getting sleet right here. And there's a little bit of accumulation of it. It's been sleeting since I got up around 4:30. It's crunchy, kind of like sugar. And the fellow who plows the roads for our town, Toby Plummer, told me in a text message swap that it's kind of like driving on marbles. So it is not great driving out there. They've been plowing, keeping the roads clear as best they can. But this sleet is tough stuff to work with. We all know that. We've tried to shovel it. We've had to shovel it in the past. We don't usually get all that much of it, but on a day like this, we really do. Temperature's been dropping all morning. It was 27 when it first came down around 4:30 this morning. It's now down to 21. But so I guess as Todd was been talking about all morning, that upper layer warm air up in the atmosphere up at 5,000 feet is still having an effect around here. The dogs are out they're just slightly off camera now. Their coats all getting frosted with sleet. Not much accumulation on the gas grill. And fortunately for us, the winds at the moment, I always better knock on wood, the winds have died down here. Earlier, they were pretty strong down at Pembroke Point, about 8 miles down the peninsula. They were gusting to 25, maybe even a little higher. The last time I checked, they've come down a bit from there. So we hope that stays the way it is. Everything, all the government offices are closed. They usually close in a bad storm. Schools are closed. Most businesses are open. Bath Iron Works open as usual. We presume pretty much most all retail businesses are open. Obviously, if you're going to go out driving to any of those places, take it easy. Make sure you keep your lights on so the other people can see you when you're driving around. I would like to see some snow myself, but I don't have much control over that. With the snow we got last Saturday, interestingly enough, was that really light, fine powder. We had quite a bit of it, but even before this storm came, that warm day we had on Wednesday, that snowpack just shrunk down to a few inches. So there is some under here, but not a lot. We're white, but not with snow here, so I don't know how much we can do with sleet. Doesn't make much of a snowman or a cross-country ski trail or anything else. Glad to hear that there's snow upland and in-country, up-country and inland. There we go. So that's great for snowmobilers, for skiers, all of that stuff, which we need to do a lot more of. So we're hanging here, dealing with what we've got. Hope that it does change over to snow in a little while, because the less sleet, the better. We did get a tiny bit of freezing rain overnight, not enough to cause a problem, but there was a little coating. So when I walked out on the roads, they are slippery underneath that sleet. So again, take it easy if you're going out driving, and let's hope that this finally blows through, that it ends up as snow. We get a little bit of a bonus on that, and move on and wait for the next one. Going to go back now to Todd, who just gave us a master class in explaining weather. If you're a young person and want to become a TV meteorologist, play back that weathercast and report that Todd just did, Class A, and you'll get some pretty good instructions from that. So Todd, back to you, and let's see what else is happening around the state.
All right, Don, we thank you very much. Always good to see you. I'm sure we'll check in with you later today. You can get more information, by the way, on our mobile app, and you can also, if you get a chance and you can do it safely, you can upload photos or even video to us, and we'll share it through our various social media outlets and maybe on TV too later today. There won't be a noon newscast on TV if you're looking for that, because of the Olympics. So you can watch all the Olympic coverage, though, all morning long. And we're also going to do another Facebook Live. That's right. We're going to do another Facebook Live sometime around noon, and I believe Keith Carson will be in to cover that. Until then, that's about it from here. It's a lot of sleet for the coast. It's a lot of snow up over the foothills and mountains. It's a mess no matter where you are, so please be careful out there and have a great weekend. Talk to you later.